Good morning and welcome everyone to another episode of From the Ground Up, real-time issues and real-time solutions for MWEs, brought to you by Queen Strategy Partners, Nicole Valentine, Esquire, Danielle Douglas, and myself, Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant. We are a collaborative group of businesses who understood we're stronger together. So all three of us came together to form Queen Strategy Partners as a way to collaborate, as a way to give back to our communities and show a model of what success looks like when you really do work together. We have an opportunity to share in this show real-time issues and real-time solutions to help you thrive during these very uncertain times of COVID-19, racial unrest, and financial insecurity. The good news is we're doing it together. We don't have to do it alone, and we're giving you the information and resources to help you focus on what's important and how we can come out of this whole experience even better. Right? That doesn't seem possible to some people, but for me, the glass is always full and there's always something that we can focus on and be grateful for. So we're grateful that you're here. We're grateful that you watch From the Ground Up every single Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please take a moment to share this broadcast with individuals that you think could benefit from hearing the information, those who are MWBEs, thinking about becoming MWBEs, or just really excited about the content that we have shown and shared on this show. So welcome to the show, and I'm going to turn it over to my beautiful co-host, Danielle Douglas.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, we are so happy that you have taken the time on a Tuesday morning to spend with us. Today, I'm excited for you because we have two great guests, as usual, and we decided to build upon what we discussed last week. If you remember, we talked about resources for NWBEs that are certified now what? And we thought that was such a great show. I think every show is a great show, but really the reason why last week was important and this week is equally as important is because we're bringing to you free business resources to help you thrive now while you are going through COVID-19. You know, oftentimes we could be standing in a river of water, knee deep in a river of water, and still dying of thirst. And the reason why is because we don't even know the resources that we have at hand that we could take advantage of. So today, again, we have two great guests that are representing two really important community-based organizations right here in Southeast Queens. The first guest is Ricardi Calixte. He serves as Deputy Director of the Queens Economic Development Corporation, tasked with strengthening the economic environment of commercial corridors. Mr. Calixte provides technical assistance to local businesses, leaders, and community development corporations in implementing neighborhood-based revitalization initiatives. He oversees the real estate research, feasibility analysis, retail attraction, district marketing, merchant organizing, and community outreach activities at QEDC. Ricardi, that's a mouthful. You got a lot on your plate. In addition, he serves as facilitator for some of the organization's business services programs, including the Ready, Set, Go workshop, Startup Business Competition. The Startup Business Competition is hashtag free money grants, and manages the NWBE, the Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprises Certification Program. He is committed to promoting small business development, creating better opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs, and with nearly 15 years of experience, his work in revitalizing commercial districts leads to the startup of new businesses, job creation, and improving the quality of life throughout the neighborhoods of Queens. So without further ado, thank you, Ricardi, as well as Hope. I know that Hope, I'm going to pass it on to Stacie so she could give you your just due as well. But thank you to the both of you for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. And I'm so excited to introduce someone that I get to work with on a local project, and just a real treasure to our Southeast community as well. Hope Knight is the president and CEO of the Greater Jamaica Development Corporation. She is someone that plans and advances real estate development to revitalize, and I want to say we are revitalizing Jamaica, Queens, and strengthen the region. She is also a commissioner on the New York City Planning Commission. She's made many efforts working on the intersection of real estate and community development to advance historically disadvantaged communities. And prior to the Greater Jamaica Development, she was the chief operating officer of the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone, where she managed day-to-day operations of the organization. And during her tenure, she was responsible for overseeing a fund of approximately $150 million focused on impact investing. She was the vice president of Morgan Stanley in the Institutional Equities Division in the US and Tokyo, Japan. She serves on numerous boards focusing on eradicating poverty, stimulating economic development activity, including Regional Plan Association, Grameen America, East Harlem Tutorial, something that's very special to me, Jack and Jill of America Foundation. And she's the immediate past chair of the Board of Trustees of Marymount Manhattan College. And she's been quoted in numerous media outlets, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, the Commercial Observer. She's one of the 2018 Notable Women in Real Estate, ranked number 2 on City and State magazine, Most Influential People in Queens. Pretty impressive. We're bringing you the best. And featured in Morgan Stanley's podcast, Access and Opportunity, a master of urban renaissance. She holds a BA from Marymount Manhattan College and an MBA from the Graduate School of Business of the University of Chicago. Welcome to our show, Hope. We are so grateful to have you and Ricardi here. Thank you for taking the time out to share these free resources for businesses and actually giving us in real time some of the solutions we can take advantage of during this season.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say good morning to some of our folks that are tuning in. I see Diana Rose. She said, we love Ricardi. He's a integral part of Jars of Delight becoming an MWBE, and this night is a pillar in our community. So look at that. You brought your own fans to the show. It's a good friend of mine as well, and just grateful to see her and those of you that are tuning in. So once again, thank you for being here. Make sure you share our broadcast and let other businesses know that we've been giving you the content and the information to take action on now. So I'm gonna turn it over to my co-host with our first question for our esteemed guest today.
Thank you, Stacie. And, this question is for the both of you, but Hope, if you could start us off, that would be really appreciated. And really, our first question is, how have you been supporting local businesses in the community during COVID-19?
So thank you, Danielle, for having me on today. And I really am pleased to be able to share this information regarding supporting MWBEs. So, when the pandemic hit, there was such a lack of information. How long was this going to go on? What were small businesses going to do? They had to shut down. And so what Greater Jamaica Development Corporation decided to do was really be proactive about supporting small businesses. And we started with the small businesses in our revolving loan portfolio. We went out to them directly and said, listen, we're going to give you a 60-day forbearance on your loans because we know this is going to be a hard time for you. And so we don't want you to have to think about having to service a loan while this is going on. So we went out and did that. Then it became clear that there were a lot of programs that small businesses were going to be able to access. So what we tried to do was synthesize the information because there were a lot of programs at the city, state, and federal level. Is very difficult to figure out what you qualified for. And then, the PPP program came out, the Paycheck Protection Program, and businesses were trying to access that. And we were able to work with some of the CDFIs and non-traditional banks to help them get access to this funding. And, it was a really intense time. It still is. Some of these programs are still in place, and we continue to help support businesses to access this information. But we have pivoted from sort of, the shutdown to how do we help businesses relaunch? What do you need to do to pivot and relaunch in this kind of post shutdown environment? And that is what we're focusing on right now.
Okay. So Ricardi, we don't want to leave you behind, but Hope, what I would say is that's really, really important because if I'm not mistaken, in regards to, I know you are a CDFI as well. You offer, as
Mm-hmm.
you said, access to capital to local businesses, and that's critically important. I'm not sure if um, your area of domain, so to speak, is still businesses within the 114 zip codes. And I say that because I know that your mission in regards to access to capital was really specifically for local businesses, you know. And so that's really important that people understand that Greater Jamaica Development Corp had a focus specifically on local businesses. So when we talk about even the forbearance of loans for 2 months, that can have a significant impact again for the business owners right here in our community. So that, those are the little things that people may not realize, but that is really, really important to highlight and for them to understand the direct impact that it can have.
Yeah, I just want to say you are right. We are focused on local businesses. We have specific loan funds for local businesses. And during the height of the pandemic, we closed 5 loans for local businesses
Mhm.
that had work and needed the access to capital.
So that is awesome that you were able in the midst of the pandemic to still close the loan. Like
Yes.
that, you just said that real quick. I'm like, hold on. When everybody was panicking, you were closing a loan
And
for
what was
5 pieces.
crazy about it is we had to figure out how to get a electronic notary done because that was something new that had to happen. We had to figure out how to get documents back and forth. And once we did the first one, then we were able to do the second one, the third one, the fourth
Mhm.
one, the fifth one. But it was quite a task to get that done, particularly the first one.
Right. And that talks about adaptability because not only do we as business owners have to adapt and pivot, what you're sharing is how you had to adapt and pivot as an organization to be able to respond to the needs of the business owners.
That is correct.
Yes. So, Ricardo, you want to jump in? As always, I know you're patient again, but we want to hear what you have to say in regards to
Sure,
what UMBC is doing as well.
sure. We did quite a few things, and still are doing quite a few things, and that definitely some similar things to what Greater Jamaica have done. In fact, some of the we've collaborated on certain things in terms of referring. There were a few of our PPP applicants that we put in contact with Greater Jamaica. Aaron. For the Jamaica loan fund. But yeah, like Hope mentioned, one of the first things we did is try to pile up and collect all of the programs that was out. Like there were just so many things that were coming out at the same time, and also too things were always evolving. Like days at the time, like within a couple of days, the program will completely change its criteria, what exactly the product was. So we went in and put together a resource guide on our website, and we distributed to our partners, where we went and just dug deep on all of the federal programs, the state programs. At the time, SBS had a city program, a couple of programs to help businesses that needed some capital. And there were also some private like foundations that had some programs. So we just did a lot of research, and tried to make it simplified. Like I have a layout where somebody can, based on, are you a business owner, um, are you self-employed, based on what box you fit in, which program will best fit you. So we had like tabs of different categories to make it just really simple to figure out what was needed. So beside the resource guide, we also knew that, well, one thing, like you see, our main service is business counseling. That's pretty much what we do on a day-to-day. We provide one-on-one business counseling, and as soon as we went offline, um or I guess online, away from the office, in mid-March, we decided to along with doing the virtual counseling, through Zoom or phone calls, we started a series of webinars on topics specifically related to COVID. So we had speakers that spoke about whether it was health, environmental issues, like as a business, how to properly manage and maintain your location to make it both safe for your employees and your customers. So we had a doctor come in and speak about some of these things about sanitizing and so on, and which products and things you can use. We also had some marketing professionals. A lot of times businesses that typically have a brick and mortar. They're pretty much, that's what they know, that's what they do, and we had marketing folks that actually came on to actually help them identify how to properly promote their business, and while they were not able to come into the door. There was a lot of strategic thinking from the speakers, in terms of like how it's just a new time. Everything was just so unprecedented and also moving so fast. Like you just have to kind of like go with everything on a day-to-day basis. So I think we had it was about 18 to 20 workshop series. We're doing 2 webinars a day, 3-4 times a week, and so on. So within like about a month, we had about 20 webinars done, and we actually are kicking a second set right now for the summer. So not this series is focused more on not that COVID is over, but now that we are reopening up, what are some of the things businesses need to consider in terms of just maybe shifting the business model a bit, pivoting, doing what they have to do to kind of perform in this new economy in a way. And so we're doing these workshops as we speak. I think started about a week or so ago. So definitely getting information to business owners, whether it's what programs are available, getting access to our business counselors. We definitely had the advisors. We had everybody from the office helping with PPP, and then we had the maintenance person, the office manager. Everybody was trying to help out with PPP because there was such a huge demand for it. Definitely this you can see right now on our website, queensandwhite.org, business services. There's the reboot and restart series is the webinar series that we are I'm currently providing. These are all free, and we also have a video archive actually on the website. So all of those 20 or so webinars we've done so far will be archived on our website for free to watch, and the video library, and it will continue to listen to our clients, understand what kind of information they need, and continue to do these trainings. So something else we also did to really was working with our community partners is to really help promote the food industry. We do have the commercial kitchen food incubator that we operate, but we also wanted to keep those restaurants that were just doing delivery and pickup on some type of public platform. So we work with some partners to make sure we identify places that were open, provided their phone numbers and so on, to allow them to have some kind of public access, so people would know. Because when you're driving around, it seems like everything is closed. So we wanted to provide the restaurants with some promotions and so on. So we did a lot of marketing and tourism stuff in terms of promoting businesses that were still open. But definitely the main piece was getting information and that counseling one-on-one to our clients.
So I'm sorry, go ahead, Stacie. I apologize.
No, I'm going to show Greater Jamaica as well, but I just want our audience to see the wealth of information that's on the website. And, with everything being virtual and digital now because of our lack of capacity to gather, this is a wealth of information. And while you ask your question, I'm going to bring up Greater Jamaica's website as well, because this is, sometimes people don't know what's available. And you don't know what you don't know until you know. Now you know, because the up is sharing these resources with you. So go ahead, Danielle, and then I'm going to bring up Greater Jamaica's website as well.
Well, I just wanted to build upon what Ricardi talked about in regards to how you were assisting restaurants, because we know that they have been going through a really hard time. They thought they would be able to be fully opened as of July 6th, and then that got shut down. So I just wanted to pivot to Hope for a second, because Hope, if I'm not mistaken, your organization has a access to capital, a financing product specifically for restaurants. Am I correct in that?
That is correct.
Okay, so with everything that's been going on, I know you talked about that the organization was able to do 5 loans. Was it to restaurant owners, or have you been doing something? Have you adjusted the loan or the criteria to meet the needs of restaurant owners right now, since you have that specific product, finance?
So I'll answer your question about the loans. So the loans that we underwrote during the height of the pandemic were really around construction projects. Those were projects where folks had gotten contracts from some of the municipal entities. Because one of the things I think the general public doesn't know is that the city, the state, and some of the municipal agencies took advantage of the slowdown where there weren't a lot of people around, so they could get some construction projects done without having the traffic and the people to deal with those projects. So those were the projects, the kinds of projects that we funded during the height of the shutdown. With respect to restaurants, we do have a specific product. We had the benefit of winning as a community the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, the first round of the award. And one of the projects that emanated from that award was the Restaurant Loan Fund. And that is a fund that provides up to $150,000 in loan capital as a loan. And if you're able to satisfy a number of conditions over a 2-year period, the loan is reduced by 25% because that becomes a grant. And so we think it's a fantastic loan product. I think the issue is today, it is very difficult for an entrepreneur to commit its own capital to opening up a restaurant, given so many of the uncertainties that we have with respect to, when is it that we're going to be able to have indoor dining, the situation of being able to create your outdoor situation, and how many seats are you going to be able to have. Just a number and a myriad of difficulties with respect to opening up a restaurant. I think that once we figure out, and have some visibility on timing of some of these things, I think some of the restaurant entrepreneurs will come back, and, they'll come back in a modified form, because, what we knew as restaurants before, I think there's going to have to be some adjustment to the business model in order to serve, in this new environment.
Absolutely. And as we are highlighting the website as well and going into all of these opportunities that are here, it's really great to know that this resource exists and that there is such a laser focus on helping our community to rebound from what we're seeing. And with things being different, with all of this virtual, how have you been successful in really engaging with the MWBEs? Like, what do you find is working the best in trying to keep the conversation going, access and information on your websites? What's been working?
Yeah, so I think what's been working is that, we've been doing, like QEDC, lots of webinars. We've been going to specific groups and clubs, talking about the information that we have available, providing, specific information around access to capital. And then we have, one-on-one counseling. A lot of what happens is once we get on a webinar, those folks will reach out and try to access one-on-one counseling. And so that's the way we've been able to really engage with the community, with MWBEs, to try to provide them with the most up-to-date information and the most critical information of the day. One of the things that we have started to do over the last couple of weeks is speak specifically to those folks who've gotten the PPP, because once you've gotten it, you want to be able to have that loan be forgiven. And so we're really focusing on how do I prepare myself, my business, paperwork to be at a point where I can submit it to have my PPP loan forgiven.
That's very important to be able to be in that position. Nobody wants to have to pay it back. You want to
Right.
use it so that you can weather this storm, but then position yourself so that you can do more and be able to pay that back. So you actually give counseling on what to do.
We have counseling. We also have these webinars, and we'll be doing these webinars on a regular basis to talk about, you know, some of the principles, paperwork, etc., to think about with respect to having your PPP loan forgiven.
And also in regards to the PPP loan, I know that a lot of the business owners are at the stage of forgiveness, but just as a reminder, the PPP loan is still available to business owners up until August 8th. Hopefully that will be extended if Congress could get their act together. But right now, as of today, business owners still have until August 8th to apply for the PPP loan. So for those of you who are listening, please don't hesitate to reach out to Greater Jamaica Development Corp or QEDC for that technical assistance for PPP if there's still interest in getting it.
Yeah, I do want to follow up and add that that was definitely one of the concerns I had when we were helping clients with PPP. For them not to just kind of get so excited about, you know, getting the grant that they forget exactly how to manage the grant, the loan, and not be able to, you know, to get the waiver. And I, you know, we definitely any client that we help, you know, we definitely make sure to kind of like instill that in them even before they got approved for it, just to know what will be required. Because I really feared that could actually spark a second like mini wave of more shutdowns from businesses that were able to stay open for a couple of months because of the loan, and now that their loan is you know, have come to term and it's not getting you know, waived, now they have debt which they can no longer afford to operate the business. So it's almost you know, just delaying the inevitable in a way. So that was definitely a focus that we try to emphasize when we help clients with the PPP. And also too, you know, some I know some of the issues that we faced with the PPP were you know, because it's really something that's focused on employees. You know, a lot of the clientele that we do with our small micro businesses, where that employee is not necessarily the issue. It's really just the overhead. You know, whether it's you know, utilities and space and you know, inventory and things like that. And while PPP did cover some of that, it seemed like from their eyes, the ratio should have been reversed, where they wanted more money for operational costs and then less money towards employees. So that was also something that kind of held some people back from applying for the PPP, because the way it was just written, it did not necessarily meet their needs. So actually, you know, some clients ended up going for the EIDL, the EIDL loan instead, which gave them more flexibility. The only thing is, you know, it also provided a larger pot. Only thing is that this program, there's no. I guess you could look at getting the first $10,000. You know, if you were received the advance, you could have first got the first 10,000 to keep. But this is actually a loan program. It's a very low interest rate compared to the market, but there's no reimbursement or not. No waiver for that program. It's a loan that you have to pay over a couple of years. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm still a little nervous about this time coming up when it's time for these PPP loans to be forgiven. How that's going to look, because I think some lenders. I just hope there wasn't any type of any kind of you know, predatory type stuff happening, where actually lenders are almost may want to even try to you know, hook in some of these businesses, you know, and try to make more money from them in the long term by not, because it's really the lender that's approving the forgiveness, not the SBA or anything like that. So I just hope everything is done ethically and goes well.
So
go Go ahead, Hope.
I would just like to build quickly on something Ricardi said. One of the issues that we saw with respect to the PPP, particularly with these micro businesses, is there was a lack of managing paperwork for their businesses that prevented them from accessing the program in some regards. And so, one of the things that I like to really, sort of elevate and shout from the rooftops is that, it is the time for micro businesses to really get your books and records in order, to get your paperwork in order, because when things come along, you want to be able to take advantage of them. Like Ricardi said, a lot of the emphasis was put on employees. Now, we were able to get PPP loans for people who had one employee as themselves to the extent that they had paperwork and bank accounts that really identified those people as being paid by the business. And the other thing I'm proud of is that we really advocated for this shift of from 75% of the loan being able to be allocated for general operating expenses to 60%. So we were able to lobby successfully to get the amount of funding that you could have provided for with respect to general operating expenses so that more of the loan could be allocated to that. So the headline here is that we really need to take this time to really get our books and records together. And QEDC, Greater Jamaica Development Corp, either one of us, there are a number of other community-based organizations that can help you get started in that process.
Mm-hmm. And Hope, what you just said, we had other guests on to speak specifically about the PPP and the EIDL loan, and they said exactly what you're saying. So for those of our participants who listen to us every week, I hope you see a pattern here. And the pattern is you need to have an infrastructure in place. Maybe that you're a one-person operation or you have 10 employees or 20 employees. Even if you are a one-person operation, you need to be operating as if you are a business owner with 20 employees or 50 employees, right? For multiple reasons. One, because then, as you said, you could take advantage of these opportunities, but also because hopefully at one point you want to grow and you begin to have those habits now so that you grow into good habits and good business practices. So that's really, really important. Thank you for re-emphasizing that what others have said on previous shows. So, Stacie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to underscore, and I think if both of you can speak to the fact that if you don't get it in order, it can be a barrier to success as an MWBE. Like you go through all of the work and the paperwork and submitting to get certified and to do all of this, but if you don't consistently maintain your records or understand what you need to do to scale, it could jeopardize your opportunity to get a contract. And the two of you all see businesses that come in every single day. Now they're coming in virtually. They're calling you in a panic. Ricardi, help. Right? They're calling your staff. They're like, oh my gosh, I hear there's money. How can I get the money? But they have to do the work first. So what do you see as barriers in addition to the paperwork, in addition to having proper bookkeeping and accounting and, being able to look at your records over a period of time, if you've been in business for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, what do you see? This is real talk. And we're going to say it in love. So it's no judgment. Don't get offended because you can't fix things that you don't fix. So I want you two to be real candid about what you see with our businesses coming into both of your organizations looking for help, but now there's some barriers to their success.
Sure.
Both of you want to jump in.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ricardi. Go ahead.
Sure. Actually, some of the we're talking about MWBEs. Some of the even from the starting point, some of the businesses that come to us trying to get MWBE certified, sometimes they have paperwork issues. So they can't even get certified properly because they don't have the proper record keeping or proper tax returns or just like corporate documents. Sometimes they don't know what the articles of incorporation is. And it's something that we definitely always have to re-emphasize about being organized and being able to know where things are and what things are. All right. But in terms of even once they get past that point, everything is tied. Seems like it's like connected to that record keeping and being organized, because I think the biggest challenge or barrier to small businesses and MWBEs is really access to capital, and a lot of times, and that's really directly linked to not being able to properly document your business over the years to show that your business is growing. So the fact that some people are either underreporting taxes or not reporting taxes at all, or not collecting sales tax or whatever it is that they're doing, it's reflecting your business. It's showing that this is a business that is just barely, maybe I'm just like hanging around, not growing. And when it's time for you to go and maybe approach a Greater Jamaica for a loan fund or a bank, they say your business is not performing. So you're hurting yourself in the long run when it's time to actually growing and opening yourself up. But also to what in terms of MWBs and contracting and procurement, doing work with government is really something like it amplifies by 20, in terms of paperwork and being organized and things you have to do. And it's one thing when you're running your day-to-day business, and pretty much all you have to do is keep paperwork of your customers and then your products or yourselves. When you're dealing with government contracting, it's a whole different beast, and the type of thing that they require from you, it could be so overwhelming when you just first see the contract that you're supposed to perform on, that if you are not uh, accustomed to managing things like this, you won't be able to perform on some of these contracts. And one thing with working with government is you don't get too many chances. If you get a contract, happen to win a contract, you don't perform, don't plan on getting another one anytime soon. So you have to be prepared. You have to come ready, and you have to start now before you even start dealing with the big boys or the big ladies and so on.
Absolutely. Great point. Oh,
Yeah, so I agree 100% with what Ricardi said with respect to paperwork. I'm not going to repeat that, but the one thing I will highlight is that I've been in this CDFI world, access to capital world for almost 2 decades, and I will tell you that I have had numerous clients that come in with a shoebox full of receipts trying to get a loan. I have pictures.
Wow.
and the thing about the shoebox full of receipts, they tend to be crumpled up. They're not even like organized. Okay. So that is a reflection on how you're treating the infrastructure of your business.
wow.
But one of the things I also want to emphasize is that real talk here, you have to figure out if you really have a clientele for your business. Because I do see businesses that come in and folks are really passionate about their product or what they're selling, but they don't have any customers. And they just think that if I get a loan and a little bit of money and I can produce this thing, at a large scale, I'll get some customers. Now, that's not the way it works. You have to get a following first, and then somebody will give you some capital to expand that. So I really want folks, entrepreneurs, to think about that, because that's a real issue. And sometimes this access to capital question is around the ability to demonstrate that you can sell your product. And if you can't demonstrate that, then you can get access to capital, because nobody is going to loan you funds if you really haven't demonstrated that you can sell your thing.
And you know what, Hope? That is lesson 101 on the show Shark Tank.
Right.
That's one of the first questions they ask consistently. How many sales do you have? Pretty much, is your business a proven concept? or is it just a hobby? Right?
Right.
It-
Right.
Technically.
Right.
So what you're saying is right on point. I mean, by all means. So you're just re-emphasizing what we see on a Shark Tank when people come in asking for investment, and they're like, what have you done?
Right.
I love it.
With the proven concept.
And it's so funny because sometimes I'll run into clients and they're trying to get some capital up, and I'm like, you know what? Go watch about 4 episodes of Shark Tank and come back and
then
tell
come
me what you saw.
Well, you know what? We might need to do our own Southeast Queens Shark Tank series, right? We might need to have that. Maybe that's the next thing that
Listen, I'll be a judge. I'll be a judge.
We'll have you and Ricardi on.
Okay.
I think it will be not only informative, but straight comical, because somebody's going to come with a shoebox.
I know.
Sees on air. As much as we talk about it and as much as we're
so
sharing,
true.
somebody going to walk in there real confident.
Right. True.
Because it's a learning. Go ahead, Ricardi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we actually kind of took on that concept for our business startup link competition this past year, where we kind of tweaked it a little bit. Usually, it would be a panel of judges that would first they'll read plans, and then there'll be 9 finalists, and then those 9 finalists will do live pitches to a group of judges, and then there'll be three categories, and we'll select one winner from each category. And but this time we did it at with Results World. This is actually I should say like last year, because the one for this year, COVID, everything was virtually now. But so the one we did last year, well, we actually had the finalists up live do their pitch, and it was like right then and there. The judges will ask questions, and then the winner was selected like immediately. There was no mystery, and so on. So I think we may have like Facebook Live there, like there was an audience, just kind of to give it like a Shark Tank feel, where it's like, this is your moment. You have your business idea. It looks great on paper. Like you have the live judges in front of you. Sell them this idea, and so it's definitely something that I think the idea of having a Southeast Queen Shark Tank is wonderful.
You heard it.
I think an idea has been
partners. Queen Strategy Partners. We're gonna organize it.
Okay.
Believe you all. Well, Ricardi, I don't know if you know me as well, but Hope knows I'm gonna run with this one right here.
Right.
So we're gonna produce it. I could see both of you being judges. We bring the best of the best in Southeast Queens, and it's a learning. We're gonna have fun, because I don't do things if it's not fun. I like to have fun and make money. So we're gonna create an opportunity that we can really see what we need to ready ourselves for. I get to work with Hope on the JFK redevelopment project. We're out here trying to tell businesses about the opportunity. This is a legacy opportunity. To get a chance to get a contract on this development could change the history of a family. You could be that one person, but if we still got the shoebox receipt.
Right. There you go.
Where did you do that?
Where you going?
Right.
Like, come on. One of my mentors, Dr. Frazier, he would say, are you in business or are you in business? Which right. So you have to figure out what you're doing. And there's so many resources. Push a pin. You heard it first on From the Ground Up. Real-time issues and real-time solutions. We're going to do a Southeast Queens version of it and get folks involved. And hopefully that builds excitement as well when you think about opportunities. Because if you think about all the things that are on the news, you'll be drained.
Right.
You'll be very pessimistic. You'll be thinking that you just throw your hands up in the air. No, money is still being made. Loans are still being funded.
Right.
Money is still being printed. So we want to make sure that we're on the side of receiving it so that we can do more for our communities. That's why we started this show. We didn't want people to think that there was no hope. It's a hard time, and we acknowledge that's a hard time, but we also know that trouble don't last always. In our community, we can do hard. We've done hard before, 400 years worth. We're going to get through the Rona and everything else and be able to be successful, but we have to get our house in order. So thank you for being candid on the things that you're seeing. I know we're having a little fun with it, but it's the truth. And if you're in that position, we still love you. We're not judging you. Just take those receipts out the shoebox, get an automated program, hire a bookkeeper, do it for free. I'm not going to mention any particular platform because they're not sponsoring from the ground up. When they sponsor us, then I'll mention their names. But they're very available, or you could use good old Excel and start inputting all your information so that you have a record of what it is that you need in order to be eligible for a grant, be eligible for a loan, be eligible for a contract, walk in to see Ricardi and Hope and their teams and be able to get certified. That's what we want to happen, not only here in Southeast Queens, but we have people watching from all over. Wherever you are, do the research. Everybody has a website up with content and information. So it's about scrolling with your fingers on Google and find what you need so you can be successful. But I'm going to let Danielle go on because I'm on my soapbox now. I'm feeling Southeast Queens Shark Tank. Yes.
Well, we get so excited about this stuff, Stacie, because we both have a heart for this, right? But, just building upon what you talked about in regards to contract opportunities, we know there's a lot going on with the JFK Redevelopment Project. But Hope, you are a key person. You, Hope Knight, as well as your organization and what you represent in regards to a lot of the development, private development that is happening in downtown Jamaica. So we get so focused on the JFK Redevelopment Project. Mind you, that's an important project. But there is other potential opportunities happening as well that NWBEs can potentially take advantage of. So we would love for you to share with some of the development and potentially how NWBEs can be connected to the private development that's happening in downtown Jamaica.
Absolutely. So, one of the strategies of GJDC was really about trying to create more residential density in the downtown so that, with having these residents in the downtown living, that would create a broader market for business in downtown Jamaica. And so, we went about working with many affordable housing developments and developers because we wanted to provide housing for a range of incomes of individuals and families. And, the first major project in the Station area that we were involved in, we sold a parcel to an MWBE developer who is developing 660 units of mixed income housing. But for COVID, the first phase would have been open by now, so probably won't open until the fall. But in that process, and because we had, a stake in what was happening there, we had a couple of what we call MWBE forums, where it gave the developers the opportunity to meet MWBE businesses in the community, specifically from Southeast Queens. And so many Southeast Queens businesses were able to meet those developers, as well as other developers that are doing affordable housing projects here in Queens, to be able to access opportunities. And what I will say is that it's important, I think, to access opportunities from private opportunities, companies, etc., before you try to access the public opportunities, the government contracting. Because like Ricardi said, it becomes a whole new different level. Of course, you have to have your paperwork and check, and you have to be organized to deal with a private entity. But it's a whole nother level when you deal with government. And I think that, being able to access a private opportunity first will give you the experience to go out and do this public work, which could be at a much larger scale than the private work.
Stacie and I, while we were on early, as we always are before the show, and we were talking about capacity and that understanding what people as individuals, but it's so applicable now with even business owners, understanding what your capacity is, because oftentimes we're like, oh my gosh, I have an opportunity for a $200,000 contract or a $500,000 contract. But if you bite off more than you can chew in that moment, it could be the demise of your of your business. So what you're saying, Hope, is like starting at one level and building yourself up, because we can always expand our capacity. Our capacity is, I like to believe, infinite, but we are at a finite in a moment. And then as we get to that level and we understand and master that level, we increase our capacity. So we have to understand that about ourselves and have enough self-awareness as it relates to our business to know where we are, how we can get these resources, and how we can expand our capacity to continue to build and grow and be able to impact others.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, we could be here literally all day, and I know that this show is coming to an end soon, but I want you to reiterate some of the free resources that you all are giving out, because that private opportunity, development opportunity, those forums, that's like priceless, because you're building relationship. We talked about this on a previous show about actually showing up to these sorts of opportunities so you can build relationship with the potential vendors, contractors. If they don't know who you are and you're just a name on a list of MWBEs, it's not going to have the same impact as you being in their face and them remembering what you bring to the table, them experiencing a little bit of who you are. That's important. So as we start to wind down today's show, I feel sad already. I don't want you all to go. We've had a good time. But what other free resources can you just share? I know a lot of on the website, but when you think top of mind, as we've been talking about barriers and challenges, you are giving out actual things that people don't have to pay for, that this is a part of your offering. I just want you to highlight maybe 5, 3, whatever number, so that folks will be more excited to go visit your websites and get that information.
All right. I'll get that started. But definitely the first thing I would say, just to stay informed, I always tell everybody to always just sign up for our e-blast. Just go to our website, queensny.org, and on the bottom, just put in your email address. There's a box there, you put in your email address, and you sign up for our e-blast. We do e-blast weekly, sometimes twice a week, and that's how to keep updated with everything that we have coming up. We are for those that are maybe watching now and they're small businesses that are not certified as MWBEs. That's I manage that program at QEDC. We provide free one-on-ones with the process. I've been doing plenty of Zoom one-on-ones the last couple of months with clients. They're at their home. They have their little drawer with all the paperwork and everything, and we pretty much sitting down. They're sharing the screen, and we literally on the portal, answering all the questions and uploading document by document. I've done 2-3 hours at a time with clients, just to get the applications in. So we definitely offer that free assistance. Sometimes I hear clients that are so relieved. They're saying, people are charging $1,500 to do this, and you guys are helping us for free. So definitely take advantage of that. Reach out to us. You can always email me, rc@queensny.org to set an appointment. For those that want to just kind of like learn about what MWB is and how it works, I do a monthly webinar. It's normally a monthly training in person, but now it's a webinar the last Thursday of each month. So on August 20th, I'll be doing an info session on how to get certified. We'll go over the application, what kind of documents they need to prepare, and then provide them opportunities to schedule a follow-up with me to help them get certified. Again, there's no cost for that. Definitely continue to consider that our business counselors are still available for the one-on-one assistance for anything business related. It's not just for applying for loans or resources, but some businesses right now we have people that want to start a business right now. Some people, this is a good opportunity for them to start a business. There's new products or services that may be more in demand right now than in the past. And there's also potentially more available retail space to be occupied now, unfortunately. So there are people that actually are trying to start up a business now. So definitely reach out to us with business plan development and making sure that your new business concept is kind of in line and kind of take into consideration the new environment that like Hope mentioned that we're in. Things are not going to be quite the same ever again.
Mhm.
Even post COVID, there's always going to be adjustments that have to be made. One of the things that we're also, I didn't mention this earlier, is we've been working with some restaurants on where we working with a architectural firm to help them understand how to better lay out and design their space regarding spacing, and just like certain protocols that is going to be expected going forward. That I think that right there actually might be a new field where there might be a lot of demand. There may be an opportunity where consultants can really help small businesses, readjust and just know exactly how to redesign the space, redesign the procedure, update their technology to avoid contact. Even the door could be contactless. There's a lot of things that can come to mind that there'll be other opportunities opening up, and it's definitely important that we just stay in the know. So keep reaching out to organizations, keep watching great programs like these, and just use and tap into the resources.
Thank you, Ricardi, and Hope. You want
Yes.
to share a few before we wrap up?
Yeah, just quickly, we do a weekly or biweekly e-blast as well, and we provide information to businesses as well as general information that we think the public should be apprised of. We have our revolving loan fund. We have individual business counselors, and I just want to build on something Ricardi said. You know, Post COVID, this world is not going to go back to the way it was. And so there are so many new business opportunities for people to take advantage of and to really think about the change in consumer behavior and what's driving that consumer behavior and how do you develop products and services to meet that. I think that really is an opportunity to folks to think about with respect to businesses. Because, I hate to say this, but we're real talk here, a lot of businesses are not going to be able to come back. And so, to the extent that you can identify a new business opportunity, you can bring that forward and create something that's really significant. And lastly, I have to put a plug in for this. Please, if you have not done your census, please do the 2020 census because we do not want our community to lose dollars that we are entitled to.
Absolutely. It's 10 questions, takes less than 10 minutes, and it'll affect the next 10 years of our lives. So we've been out here pushing the census. We want Southeast Queens to be represented. Of course, we want an entire country, all the underrepresented communities. We see what's going on. If you are afraid of immigration issues, you're afraid of the government getting in your business, this is the one thing that's still protected. They can't come get you. Just fill out the census, count everybody except the dog and the goldfish. We need to be counted so we can have access to resources in our community. This is so important. And really, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for the kids in your family, do it for the elders in our community who need to have certain resources, down to the bus stops, down to the street cleaning, down to schools and access. It affects every part of the things we take for granted in our communities. The 2020 census is a must. And it will solidify the fact of who the real majority is in the country. That's why folks don't want you to fill out the census. But that's another story for another day. But thank you both for sharing your brilliance with us and being here. I'm going to turn it over to my beautiful co-host, Danielle, to close us out today. And I hope to see all of you back again next week, same time, same place, for another episode of From the Ground Up. Over to you, Danielle.
So thank you, my lovely Stacie. I just want to say again, on behalf of Queen Strategy Partners, we hope that we provided you some great information from our two great guests this morning. Our mandate is to continue to provide you real-time solutions for the real-time issues that you're dealing with today during COVID-19, but also for tomorrow, because we not only want you to survive during this time, But more importantly, we want you to thrive. And so we continue to show up every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And all we ask is that you just give us an hour of your time, because we guarantee you it will be worth it. Time is money, but guess what? If you can multiply not only these literal resources that we're sharing with you, but the knowledge, the information that we're providing you, it will pay you significant dividends. So until next week, make it happen. But we're looking forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday at 9 o'clock, because we guarantee you we will be here. Until then, make it happen.
Bye-bye, everyone.